Hi, I'm so excited today to speak to some of our learners from Bangalore and understand their perspective of online schooling with 21K School. I'm Yeshwanth Raj Parasmal, the founder and chief executive officer at 21K School. I would request my learners who are there with me to introduce themselves and begin.
Hi, I'm Haasini. I'm from Bangalore. I'm a grade 10 student and I've been in 21K since 4 years.
Hello, I'm Aiza. I'm in grade 7 and I've been with 21K School for 3 years. And I'm a entrepreneur and actress, model, and mainly other things as well.
Hello, I am Amiliaa Aamyra Amjad. I'm studying at 21K School for about 3 years now, and it's amazing.
Hi, I'm Vrushaank. I've been studying in 21K School since 4 years, and I live in Bangalore, and I'm a grade 9 student in 21K School.
Excellent. Thank you so much for all of you to be here and join me on this show. So, I have a few questions for me. Just trying to understand, how 21K School has been making a difference to your learning journey. So let me, maybe Amelia, if you could start and let us know about what is the merits that you see with online schooling in terms of, how it is contributing you to live your passion.
Okay, so 21K School is amazing because in traditional schools, you just have this fixed syllabus and you can't really venture out of it. But in 21K School, you have like the same learning that traditional schools have, but you also have other things. Like you can go and follow your passion wherever you want.
But do you really think that adds well? Because, a lot of parents whom I meet who are not part of 21K School, they doubt how can you cover the syllabus in 3 to 4 hours, right? So what do you think? The saving of the time, is it compromising on the academic rigor?
No, definitely not. I wouldn't agree on that. Definitely, it's not causing any disturbance to our academic progress. And in fact, I've improved a lot since the time I've joined 21K. And I'm doing much better academically and also following my passion and hobbies. So there is also a lot of time which we get where we can follow our dreams and also progress in our academic scores.
I see that you're already doing a lot, many things, right? So you're in grade 7 and should be over 12, 13 years old?
Yeah, I'm 13.
So you've always been, passionate about so many different things, right? From acting to modeling to being an entrepreneur. And how is 21K School helping in this journey?
21K School has been giving me like more time, to do all those things, and it has given me more opportunities and more learning and all the things. Basically, these acting and stuff, I think we also have a club for it, right? For acting and debate, everything, like extracurricular activities from 21K School itself. So academically and passionately, 21K School is amazing for me.
Vrushaank, you're preparing for the board exams, right? So you'll be in grade 9 and 10 now, next year. So, and you've spent quite a academic years with 21K School. So what is the change that you see in terms of your academic progress, and how confident are you about looking ahead, post completing your grade 10?
So before joining 21K, I wasn't very, active, or I was very introverted. I wasn't talking much, and I wasn't participating in any activities in school. But after joining 21K, it really helped me to open up and, start speaking and start asking questions, knowing the answers. And I also, in a way, I also became more curious about new things, learning new things, and also I also can do a lot of things after the classes are over. Like I can follow my passion and do all the hobbies I like, all the activities I love to do. And even academically, it has helped me a lot. All my grades have improved very drastically, like compared to my other old school grades and everything.
Excellent. That's, because I heard that, you've actually been an introvert and it has helped you to open up and become more social. That's very, again, very different perspective for a lot of our listeners, I'm sure, that, with 21K School, you lose your social connect. How has your experience been with just socializing outside the school? Because you're not meeting your friends in person. So, Maybe Haasini, you'd want to go up and share your perspective.
I mean, we definitely don't get to meet our friends that often, but learning, I mean, when our online classes are going on, we meet them, we interact, and afterwards we connect personally, talk a lot. And if there is anybody in my city, we plan something like we could meet up on this day at this location, have fun. And I recently did that with some of my classmates, and we had a lot of fun. And we're like, we need to gather more people and meet more. So I think social life is not getting disturbed, and in fact, we have more connections.
But do you also agree? I mean, as what has been your experience with socializing with
Well,
people outside?
in 21K, we can just talk. We can talk. You know, many people think that we cannot socialize, that we become introvert after joining in online school and not offline school. So I think it's really good for socializing, even though we are not meeting or touching each other, or
Right,
And
right.
yeah, just as Haasini said, I've met my friends here itself in Bangalore. A lot of people are living here in Bangalore, so I met a lot of them. But still, talking with online, like after class also, we have meetings. Just like we meet, in traditional school, we meet like that in online school as well.
So are your best friends in 21K school or outside the school? Okay.
Definitely. Like, I don't get the fact where people say that your socialization goes downwards, because for me, it has improved. Before 21K, I was an introvert, I'll be honest. I never used to speak much because I never used to get the chance to speak. But now in 21K, I kind of learned that you have to speak. And the teachers and everyone really helped me understand that no one is
Right.
going to judge you. Like, just speak. Your opinion matters.
In fact, one of the parents had told me this, that students in the traditional schools need to speak more outside the school because they don't get a chance to speak so much within the classroom. I mean, it's not the case with 21K school, because we have looked at completing the entire, the classroom engagement in such a way that the learners get to speak. I mean, that's why it's the flipped learning model that we have. I'm glad that, I'm seeing that outcome of that. But tell me, that's something which I am personally very keen to understand. How do you see the quality of facilitators, the teaching, the support that's provided? Are we really making a difference in your academic journey as well?
Hugely, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The teachers are really nice. In traditional schools, I just find that they're a lot more standoffish. Like, they don't treat you as their friend. You can't ask them whatever you want. But in 21K school, they're less like teachers and more like mentors. Personally, you can go to any teacher and ask for help, and they will help you.
Oh, okay. Okay. But do you all agree, or is it just an
Yes.
exception, or do you think?
Anytime I want, like if I want like if I have any doubt after school, I'll just ask them, can we have a quick meetup? And then the teacher will be like, yeah, sure, that we can do that. And then she clears my doubt, and also she talks about like, what are you gonna do after the school? Like, what is it and stuff.
Vrushaank, what has been your experience? I mean, especially when you're preparing for grade 9, 10, you're with the NIS stream, right? Yeah. How's
The teachers are very, very nice, and then the way of teaching this, it's also very good. And the main thing is that we can actually ask them after the classes are over. If we have any doubts, we can clear it even after the class is over. It's not the case with the offline school. We need to wait for one whole day, and suppose it's an urgent doubt or something, we can actually connect with them easily through call or message or anything. And in traditional schools, they're like Amiliaa said, it's very different. The teacher's perspective is also very different. They're like, the behavior is different compared to the online, like the teachers we have in 21K. So it's definitely very better.
so one of perspectives that we had while building 21K school, right? I mean, I've seen, because I've been involved in setting up over 75 schools, colleges in the physical space. I saw that it's most of the time the learners, the parents have to change their way of living, their requirements, their passion to suit the requirements of the school, right? We wanted to reverse that. So in terms of the learners' expectations, whether it's language choice, subject choices, we want to make sure that we accommodate the students' needs rather than the students accommodating our needs. So the whole thing about personalization, I mean, could you give some examples, Harshini, where you thought that, what we are doing is adding value to you as a learner? Is personalization of education so important, critical in your life?
Yes, it is very much important. And I think the best part about 21K, I think the point you mentioned, we don't have to adjust. The parents don't have to adjust to our learning, and we don't have to adjust to that. We can choose the language we want to learn. There are, I think, a lot of options like Marathi, Tamil, Telugu, and so on, like all regional and international languages as well. So that helps a lot. You can choose what you want, and it's like you can personalize your subjects and languages. And even in Indian senior school, I think in iOS board, it's been wonderful. I'm so glad 21K collaborated with it, and it's like we can choose the subject and according to what career you want to go into in the future, and that has helped me. I love psychology, I love Indian culture heritage, the subjects I chose, and I'm having a lot of fun learning more about them.
Okay. Aiza, what do you plan to do and be, when you have completed your grade 12?
My perspective, 21K school allowed me to, as choose my own things, like my own languages. If I want to learn anything new, it has given me the opportunity to choose anything. But in traditional schools, they actually don't give, like there's one particular language which is important for us to learn. But in 21K school, we can learn whatever we want in our fun learning.
Exactly. Like Aiza said, we can choose whatever languages we want. Like saying that you do not want to live in India for the rest of your life. Say you want to move to Germany, you can take German. Say you want to move to France, you can take French. And this school is absolutely amazing in this regard. It's absolutely necessary, I feel, that all schools change to become like this, because why should students compromise on what they want?
Hey, that's very well said, Amelia. I mean, tell me honestly, I mean, how many of you feel the need for additional tuitions outside 21K school just to cope with the stress of exams?
I think
No,
we
no.
need
Yeah.
tuition.
None of you
I
are
think,
using
uh,
tuitions? No?
In my family and relatives, sometimes they're like, you're a grade 10 student, you don't go to any tuition, and you have math as a
Exactly.
subject. I'm like, I don't think I need it personally, and I don't go to any tuitions, and I think 21K is enough. And like the teachers here, the facilitators are so good. They go beyond the school schedule and arrange classes for us if we have any doubts and clarify them. And that's amazing. Why do you need tuitions when you have wonderful teachers like that?
Exactly.
But how has your assessments been? I mean, are your parents happy with your academic progress when they look at your statement of marks and others?
Yeah.
Or they feel that no, you're lagging behind, I need to put you. I mean, there's sometimes just peer pressure, right? Social pressure, seeing everybody is going to tuitions. Why aren't you going to the tuitions?
To be honest, I have had A+ grades throughout, so the grades aren't really my thing. But one extremely important thing that I saw is the SEL, because there is now like a portion of your report card focusing on SEL, like your personal development, your emotions. I think that is absolutely amazing.
Okay. I mean, do you also think the habits of mind that we had introduced has been valuable in terms of the perspective that you're getting from the SCCL and the habits of mind concepts?
Yeah, it is definitely, it made a change because we're not only just keeping it like, okay, we are a habits of mind school, but then we're actually integrating them in our classes in 21K, in presentations. Whenever we do a group project, the teacher always suggests us to, add the habit of mind at the ending of the presentation so that we can integrate it in our daily activities and classes, so that it's building our we can actually understand how we are thinking and how should we actually think, and it's definitely allowing us to develop ourselves in a good.
Any one habits of mind, instance that you can quote and how you've actually been able to implement that in your day-to-day life?
Yeah, I try as much as possible to paste, like copy all those habits of mine and paste it to my daily life. And I told you, right, I'm an entrepreneur, so there will be a lot of habits of mine to use for me. Yeah, habits of
Any
learning is
particular
amazing.
instance you want to quote, any specific
Thinking
example or
interdependently.
thinking independently? Yes, absolutely.
Adding humor.
Adding humor.
Adding humor.
Managing impulsivity a
Oh,
lot.
that's my favorite, right? I mean, especially at the age that you are, I mean, it's so much more important to just to manage the impulsive, buying or eating decisions, food. There's so much more distractions in today's world, right? So, but how are you taking care of your screen time?
I take good care. I crochet. So when I crochet, I am away from the screen. So I take my time, like a relief of the the screen time. And we also have break times in 21 K
Exactly.
school. So I do my eye exercises. I've taken, a part of it, like a chart, like what to do in the break time. So I'd stay away from the screen as much as possible.
And even the teachers between the classes, I think they just ask us to look outside the window or maybe like get up and walk for a while. So that is like just diverting us from the screen a little bit, and also they're somehow inculcating a good habits in us, and that's amazing.
And is it just convenient in terms of, the stress that you get? I mean, is there assessments really stressful? I mean, are you really asked to memorize things and, quote the concepts, exact words, the what I had gone through personally in my
You just have to get the
exams.
concepts. Like if you understand the concept, like 21K, it's skill based. So if you understand the concepts, you're pretty much good to go. You don't need to do any extra preparation.
We just need to write it from our heart, what we understand on our perspective.
So you're not marked down if you don't quote the exact words that you
No
you
way.
learned. No, that's not
And
the
I think
concept. Right?
the important part is in subjects like science and all, there are some keywords which are necessary, and the teachers do mention them. They tell us that keep these in mind, and while answering, whatever you understood, and they're learning the way they teach. Their teachings are amazing, so we don't need any particular answer to memorize. We understand the topic very well, and we write them very well. I'm pretty sure our assessments are going really good, and they're not stressful. The fact that we call them assessment itself takes out the fear.
Takes out the
Yeah.
We call it assessment so that it's like assisting ourselves, and it's not like someone is actually examining what we have learned till now. So it's not that stressful, and it's way easier to even prepare for the assessments. It's nothing to actually prepare, it's what we know. We need to write what we know and what we've learned till now. It's nothing like we're going to open the books and start memorizing and then remembering everything for hours, sitting in front of the book and all
So
of
really
that.
what I keep telling our facilitator is the assessment is your assessment. How well have you taught the kids? Right? I mean, if the kids are not doing well, it's a reflection of, what you've been, how you've been teaching in the classroom. I mean, it's so much more critical. Because if you've taught well, it's an engaging classroom, I think, things will be better. But, tell me, because you're at home and it's not, we don't have very supervised exams, right, environment. So is there an urge to just, maybe use ChatGPT or refer to certain websites, solve the things? Or is the assessment so skill based that, even if you get an open book kind of a thing, you'll not be able to do that? So how is this academic integrity
So
comes
there's
in?
one thing. Of course, there's always an urge, but it depends on you. It's your honesty, because you can't just use ChatGPT for everything, and then when you go to like do your job, do your career, you can't do anything then. And the questions are often like so critical. Even if you put them into ChatGPT, the answers are like far off from the right ones. So even if you try and use ChatGPT, it won't work. Yeah.
And I think even the platform which we use doesn't allow us to do any of that. So we are honest. It's like it says that it reminds us to be honest, and it's an assessment and we're assessing ourselves. And at the end of the day, we're very sure that the teachers have, given us good qualities. They've taught us everything well, and we need to represent that hard work and not, Google it or do ChatGPT, and we wouldn't even feel like doing it. Even if we do that, we're going to regret it at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Because the trust is such an important factor, right? I mean, it's best ways to inculcate at this age. I mean, if we can't really trust you in terms of your assessments, if you can't drive those ethical practices now, how can we be confident that you will add value to the society
Yeah,
later?
it's called assessment for a reason. And after, like before the assessments, the teachers will say like, don't be stressful, write what you know. Just don't it's pressure on it, just write what you know. I'm sure these questions are simple, so just write what you know. Be free. Don't stress yourself.
And the thing that every teacher, a lot of people, they've come from traditional schools, they used to calling it exams. So they constantly keep reminding us not to call it an exam and call it an assessment. That's a very good thing. Like every teacher in 21K reminds us to call it an assessment, so the stress is less. And mostly all of the questions are critical thinking. Even ChatGPT can't think that much, for sure.
Absolutely, and can't really match. It's called artificial for a reason.
We need to be creative with our mind.
You need to use the human brain.
Absolutely. So what about the written work? I mean, is it all typing? I mean, do you all first think that written work is so much more important in today's time? And if yes, then how are you inculcating this at 21K?
We write a lot.
You write a
There
lot?
is also
Okay.
that, like typing, like we do presentations, that is a different part. But we also have a lot of writing part. Like, there are assignments which the teachers give us and we're supposed to write them. And it's much fun. Like, I remember there was a time where we did not do our work and the teacher asked us to submit the blank papers, and she would give us a remark saying that complete your incomplete work. So it was fun. It's like it's reminding us that we need to write. So at a point initially I was like, writing is nah. But then it's so much fun. It has the soul. Like writing on a paper makes all the difference. Yeah.
My teacher, she tells me to write everything what you know. If it's not even on the syllabus or the book, it's amazing. If you know better than the book, then it's even more creative. So
Why restrict to just textbooks, right?
yeah.
And 21K school, now our teachers are giving us a blend of things. Like you can take some notes on the computer and you can take some notes on a notebook. So in that case, you have both practice in typing and in writing.
Yeah, and in your career after school, you are going to work on laptops some or the other time. So you need to have a practice in typing also, because you need to be fast in typing too. So I think both are equally important. But making notes is it's a different thing, and I like to use highlighters and all of that, making beautiful notes and everything.
And do you also get to read many books?
Yeah.
I mean, just apart
Yes.
from the textbooks, right?
Exactly.
Because a lot of kids which I used to meet earlier, they used to never have time to read novels, books, fiction, non-fiction, and others. So I'm glad that you have time to spend.
Yeah, we have a
things.
lot of
Oh my
time.
God, I
to
read
a
so
lot of
much,
things.
honestly. I think I read like 100 books this year.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm a huge reader. To be fair, I don't only read nonfiction, I read a lot of fantasy and fiction, so.
And has the digital library that we have has been
Yeah.
helpful?
Yes.
I love the digital library. Instead of watching more series on Netflix or whatever, I go to digital library and watch some of those videos. It's also entertaining and humor.
And I think the digital library, the laboratory which is there to experiment, it gives us a lot of experience. Like, we cannot go to a physical lab and do things, but it doesn't make any difference. It's everything we're performing, and it's like an experience of a lab. Yeah.
I also think it's safer, because when you're doing a chemistry thing, I think it's better to do it online for now, because it's at least safer than the actual one. And if you actually do something wrong in the real world laboratory, if a slight mistake has happened, it's going to be a big disaster. And suppose it's a chemistry thing.
In fact, the CBSE boards also are now promoting more use of virtual labs, and they've already anyway cut down dissection of animals and others, and it's definitely not
I
safe
mean,
to
it
do
gives
that.
us the practice before we actually do it, and I think that makes all the difference.
And any one of you, but want to say that how do you utilize the free time that comes up? So what is your like typical schedule from morning to evening?
For me, my class ends at 1:30. So what I do is first I take a break from the screen. Maybe I eat my food mainly, and then I play with my cat. And after that, after 30 minutes or anything, I have some assessments, all
The
those
home
assignments
assignments.
to do, which is also fun. It's like projects. So I do that. Then I'll crochet, then I have some schedules to, go for my acting and modeling. So I'll go and come back after the shoot.
So tell me, I mean, as we come towards the end of it, I'd want each one of you say maybe one the best thing of 21K school, and what is your suggestion for me and even for the maybe the other learners, what they could learn from your journey at 21K school.
I mean, I wouldn't have any suggestion for any like as an improvising or anything right now. It's amazing. I'm loving school. And for other learners, just see how it is. I mean, experience it. Do not compare it with offline schools because it's much more than that. You get to learn more than just academics, and you get to explore and interact. So be active during the classes. That is how you're going to enjoy, or else you wouldn't get the feel. You need to be active, you need to interact, make friends, and that is when you'll notice that it's amazing. I'm never going to leave the school. Yeah.
If I'm to tell anything, just as our new tagline says, where every learner finds their own path, if you're coming to 21K school, you will find your own path. You will be a new you.
Exactly. Like, it really helps you. It helps cultivate your interests. Before, I wanted to be a doctor. Then, due to our passion projects, I actually chose one field of being a doctor, neurosurgery. Then I learned that you have to be in surgery for like 10 hours almost, some surgeries. And I did not have that level of patience. And because of MUN and all of the debates, I realized that I do want to do something related to law. And that is what I'm gonna pursue.
Yeah, and I think everyone in 21K, they do get a lot of free time after the classes are over. So even in the school, we focus on building up skills and proper skills and unique skills and everything. And I think everyone needs to have a hobby apart from academics. They need to do something extracurricular. For example, I like after my classes are over, I play with my dog. I take my dog for a walk and all of that. I also love practicing like singing because I have classes for singing, and then I'm also a flutist, so I practice my flute when after the classes are over. So I think everyone needs to have a hobby because that's going to help a lot in their future. Not only the career is the main thing, but then you need to have something beside that so that you have something else to do. Suppose you're bored of that, you need to have something else to do after you're actually doing that. You need to do something beside it to balance the things out in your day. So yeah.
It's been fantastic just listening to your thoughts. I mean, it's so satisfying to me to know because there's a purpose and intent with which we started 21K school. I would not say that I'm fully happy with what's happening. I think there's a lot more scope for improvement and progress. We want to make sure that 21K school becomes extremely learner centric, right? And we want to just turn around the table and say that the school exists for the betterment of all our learners, every learners at a time. And I see that we are making progress, but yes, we'll definitely reach to that ambitious path. Thank you so much, all of you, to take the time out to meet. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. It was lovely to have all of you
Thank
here.
you. It's
Thank
our
you so
honor.
much for having us.